Good evening and welcome to TC Network. I am Tingnay Tim Hokip bringing you today's news. Today's top headlines include US asks citizens not to visit Manipur, Jammu and Kashmir in India, cites Rabies terrorism. KSOI prizes NCST for speedy transfer of MU's displaced Kuki students. News in details. Revising its travel advisory to include the northeastern states in India, the United States has asked its nationals to not travel to Manipur, Jammu and Kashmir, the Indian-Pakistan border, and areas in the country where Naxalites are active. In its advisory, the State Department has mentioned that rape is one of the fastest growing crimes in India, sexual assault at tourist sites, and terrorist attacks with little or no warning to discourage travel to the country. Exercise increased caution in India due to crime and terrorism. Some areas have increased risk, the U.S. State Department has said. The U.S. nationals have also been advised to reconsider travel to the northeastern states due to terrorism and violence. The State Department said, do not travel to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir except the eastern Ladakh regions and its capital, Leh, due to terrorism and civil unrest within 10 km of the India-Pakistan border due to the potential for armed conflict, portions of central and east India due to terrorism, and Manipur due to violence and crime. Indian authorities report that rape is one of the fastest growing crimes in India. Violent crimes such as sexual assault has happened at tourist sites and other locations. Terrorists may attack with little or no warning. They target tourist locations, transportation hubs, markets or shopping malls, and government facilities, the travel advisory said. While India has been placed at level 2 for travel, but the rating of many parts of the country such as Jammu and Kashmir, India-Pakistan border, Manipur, central parts of central and east India have been revised to level 4. On Manipur, which has been placed by the U.S. State Department at level 4, do not travel, the State Department said. Do not travel to Manipur due to the threat of violence and crime. Ongoing ethnic-based civil conflict has resulted in reports of extensive violence and community displacement. Attacks against Indian government targets occur on a regular basis. U.S. government employees traveling in India require prior approval before visiting Manipur. For other northeastern states, the advisory said, ethnic insurgent groups occasionally commit acts of violence in parts of the northeast. These incidents include bombings of buses, trains, rail lines, and markets. There have been no recent reports of violence in Assam, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Sikkim, or Tripura. Similarly, terrorist attacks and violent civil unrest are possible in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Do not travel to this state with the exception of visits to the eastern Ladakh region and its capital, Leh. Violence happens sporadically in this area and is common along the line of control between India and Pakistan. It also occurs in tourist spots in the Kashmir Valley, Srinagar, Gulmarg, and Pahalgam. The Indian government does not allow foreign tourists to visit certain areas along the LOC, it said. India and Pakistan have a strong military presence on both sides of the border. The only official border crossing for non-citizens of India or Pakistan is in Punjab. It is between Atari, India and Wagah, Pakistan. The border crossing is usually open, but check its current status before you travel, it said. Naxal attacks have been reported in the rural parts of Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, that border Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, and Odisha. The government officials of the U.S. have been asked to obtain permission before their travel to most areas in Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Meghalaya, and Odisha. However, the employees can visit the capital cities of these states. The Kuki Students Organization, KSO General Headquarters, has made an appeal to Nirupam Chakma, a member of the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, seeking urgent action in facilitating the transfer of displaced Kuki students from Manipur University to Northeastern Hill University, Nehu, and Assam University as mandated by the order of Supreme Court of India. In a formal representation to the NCST member, the APEC student body emphasized the dire need for intervention, highlighting the plight of hundreds of students who have been unable to pursue their education due to administrative delays. KSO Education Secretary Thang Moi Haokip representation brings to light the inaction of the part of educational authorities in implementing a Supreme Court order from 8 months ago. The Apex Court had mandated the transfer of displaced students to ensure their uninterrupted education amid ongoing conflicts in Manipur. Outlining several critical issues faced by the displaced students, Thang Moi Haokip stated, despite the Supreme Court's directive, there has been no progress in the transfer process for the displaced students of Manipur University, and the students' repeated applications and follow-ups have gone unanswered, causing immense frustration and uncertainty. He also stated that PhD scholars are facing severe setbacks in continuing their studies online, while the retirement of their supervisions and complications with migration certificates from Manipur University have further exacerbated the situation. The delay has left 284 students in a state of limbo, eagerly waiting the opportunity to continue their higher education, and such prolonged inaction has had a detrimental impact on the academic aspirations of these students. He stated, highlighting the tireless efforts of the student body in actively advocating for the rights of the displaced students since the onset of the conflict in Manipur, Haokip stated that we have submitted numerous representations to the University Grants Commission UGC chairman seeking swift action. However, we received no response from the relevant authorities till date. In light of these challenges, the KSO appeals to Nirupam Chakma for his immediate attention and intervention, urging him to facilitate the expedited transfer of displaced students to Nehu and Assam University as per the Supreme Court's directive in WP Civil Number 1307 of 2023, Manipur University AME Welfare Society and ANR Union of India NORS. The student body also conveyed hopes that prompt action will alleviate the distress faced by Kuki students and allow them to resume their educational pursuits without further hindrance. In honor of Kargil Vijay Diwas, the Indian Army organized a painting competition on July 26, 2024 at the Yangnom Village, More. This event aimed to commemorate the valor and sacrifice of Indian soldiers during the Kargil War, fostering a sense of patriotism and creativity among participants, encouraging artistic expressions on themes related to patriotism, the Kargil War, and bravery. The Indian Army is dedicated to inculcating patriotism in the youth and educating them about the brave hearts who laid down their lives for the nation. Through this painting competition, the Army seeks to inspire young minds and instill a deep respect for the sacrifice made by our soldiers. Participants had the opportunity to learn about the significance of Kargil Vijay Diwas, the heroic deeds of our soldiers, and the importance of national unity and pride. This event not only honors the memory of our brave soldiers, but also encourages the community to come together in a spirit of unity and creativity by saluting the bravery and sacrifice of our soldiers and in fostering a sense of national pride through art. A joint press release and public declaration was released by KSO, JSF, KWOHR and ZMA today, the 26th July 2024, regarding the rise of communal tension due to the misuse of social media by certain individuals which got leaked on various social media platforms. The joint release reads, after a detailed and in-depth deliberation between KSO, ZSF, KWOHR, ZMA, a joint declaration is hereby issued to mitigate and overcome the negative ramifications arising out of the misuse of social media and the spread of communally charged content. This joint declaration is necessitated by the knowledge that the supreme of communal speech and content is the biggest obstacle to our unity, to the maintenance of social harmony, and to our joint struggle going ahead. The online activities of enthusiastic and insensitive youth will be strictly monitored henceforth. Communally charged and insensitive content found on online and social media platforms will be dealt with strictly in a collaborative and combined effort. Schools and their administrators are hereby directed to monitor the online activities of their students and as far as possible to ban their social media accounts. District Veterinary Office, Lamkau today at around 7 a.m. gave free anti-rabies vaccine to dog owners of V. Munhoy Village at YPA Hall V. Munhoy under the supervision of V. Munhoy Village Authority. Around 70 dogs were vaccinated today with anti-rabies vaccine, and owners are requested to continue to get these dogs vaccinated in the future as well. This anti-rabies vaccination program was held by the District Veterinary Department along with the village authorities. The Veterinary Department team comprises of Dr. Zam Lian Thang, Veterinary Officer, along with Veterinary Attendant Pau Khan Suan Khup Tong, TK Mun Song, Kap Khan Siam, Nun Suan Lian Khup Tong, Chin Suan Mang, Thang Lian Mang, and Lal Nung Sangi, Field Assistant, and also LDC worker Tiao Chin Pao, respectively. Even cats can get this anti-rabies vaccination, but it has to be older than 3 months. Animals that are pregnant, breastfeeding, or having ailments are exempted from this vaccination. The vaccinated animals should get a booster dose after 1 month, after which it will be safe to get your pets vaccinated once in a year. V. Munhoy Village Authority thanked the Veterinary Department for the free anti-rabies vaccine provided by them. Dogs not getting vaccinated can cause rabies to the person getting bitten by it. Hence, to prevent that, the District Veterinary Department is trying their best to get all the dogs in town vaccinated. It was reported that 135 dog bites cases occur in the month of June, which were admitted to casualty ward in the district hospital. All the dog bite victims were given anti-rabies vaccine. Pakistan has not learned any lessons from history and continues to wage proxy war in the grip of terrorism to stay relevant, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Friday, asserting that the evil designs of the enemy will not be allowed to succeed. On the occasion of the 25th Kargil Vijay Diwas, the Prime Minister paid homage to the brave hearts who made the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty. He also attended a Shraddhanjali Samaroh and Harda Gaurav Gatha briefing on Kargil War by non-commissioned officers and visited Amar Sansmaran and Hut of Remembrance here. He also visited the Veer Bhumi. The Prime Minister slammed Pakistan, saying, "It has always faced defeat in the past. Pakistan has not learned anything from its past and has continued to wage war in the grip of terrorism and proxy wars to stay relevant," he said. The remarks come in the backdrop of surge in terror incidents in Jammu region. Modi, however, asserted that the nefarious intentions of terrorists will never be fulfilled. Our brave hearts will crush all terror attempts, he added. Paying tributes to the soldiers, Modi said, "The sacrifice made by the soldiers are immortal." Kargil Vijay Diwas reminds us that the sacrifices made for the nation are immortal. Even though months, years, decades, and centuries pass by, the lives laid down to protect the nation's borders cannot be erased. The nation is forever indebted and deeply grateful to the mighty superheroes of our armed forces, Modi added. Recalling the days of Kargil War, Modi said he was fortunate to be amidst the soldiers back then, and that he still remembers how the soldiers carried out a difficult operation at such a height. "I salute the brave sons of the country who made the supreme sacrifice to protect the motherland," he said. In Kargil, we not only won the war, we presented an incredible example of truth, restraint and strength, the PM said. Modi said India was making all efforts to maintain peace with its neighbor, but Pakistan showed its true colors. However, falsehood and terror were brought down to their knees by truth, he added. "Today, I am speaking from a place where masters of terror can hear my voice directly. I want to tell patrons of terrorism that their nefarious designs will never succeed," he said, adding, "Our brave hearts will crush terrorism, and enemy will be given a befitting response." The Prime Minister also said that India will overcome all the challenges in the way of development of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. Modi said the abrogation of Article 370, which was done on August 5, 2019, will complete 5 years next month, and Jammu and Kashmir of today is talking about a new future full of dreams. Ladakh was carved as a union territory out of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir. Giving examples of progress in Jammu and Kashmir, he mentioned holding G20 meetings in the UT, government's focus on infrastructure development and tourism, opening of cinema halls, and allowing Shia morning procession in the Islamic month of Muharram after 3.5 decades. This heaven on earth is swiftly moving in the direction of peace and prosperity, the Modi added. Underlining the developments taking place in Ladakh, the PM said through the Sinkun La Tunnel, the Union Territory will remain connected with the whole country throughout the year in every season. Modi witnessed the first blast of the Sinkun La Tunnel project in Ladakh virtually at the event. Sinkun La Tunnel project consists of a 4.1 km long twin tube tunnel to be constructed at around 15,800 feet on the Nimu Padum Darcha road to provide all-weather connectivity to Leh. This tunnel will open doors of new possibilities for the development and better future of Ladakh, he said. India successfully conducted the second phase of flight testing of ballistic missile defense system on July 24 at the Integrated Test Range ITR in Chandipur, Odisha. The ballistic missile demonstrates homegrown capacities to defend hostile missiles with a range of 5,000 km. The Defense Ministry said that the flight test met all the objectives, validating a complete network-centric warfare weapon system consisting of long-range sensors, low-latency communication system, and an advanced interceptor missiles. The ballistic missile was launched from LC-4 Dhamra at 4:20 p.m. on Wednesday, mimicking adversary ballistic missile, which was detected by weapon system radars deployed on land and sea, the ministry said. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh appreciated the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, for the successful flight test and said that it has again underscored India's ballistic missile capability. The second phase of AD, endo-atmospheric missile, is an indigenously developed two-stage solid-propelled ground-launched missile system, which is meant for neutralizing many types of enemy ballistic missile threats in the altitude in the range of endo to low exo-atmospheric regions, the Defense Ministry said in a statement. A number of state-of-the-art indigenous technologies developed by various DRDO laboratories have been incorporated in the ballistic missile system, the ministry said. Secretary Department of Defense R&D and Chairman DRDO, Dr. Samir V. Kamat congratulated the entire DRDO team for their hard work and the contribution that culminated in the successful flight test, the statement said. The DRDO is collaborating with the private sector, MSMEs and academia to focus on deep tech areas like artificial intelligence, robotics, cybersecurity, unmanned systems, advanced materials including dual-use technology, where rapid innovation can significantly enhance defense capabilities. According to the ministry, the Technology Development Fund (TDF) scheme is encouraging the participation of private industries, especially startups and MSMEs, creating an ecosystem aimed at enhancing the capabilities in cutting-edge technology and promoting Atma-Nirbharta in defense. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh on Friday paid rich tributes to the armed forces personnel who fought valiantly in extremely harsh conditions to defend the nation's territory during the Kargil War 25 years ago. On July 26, 1999, the Indian Army announced the successful culmination of Operation Vijay, declaring victory after a nearly 3-month-long battle on the icy heights of Kargil in Ladakh. The day is observed as Kargil Vijay Diwas to commemorate India's victory over Pakistan in the war. Today, on the 25th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Diwas, we remember the indomitable spirit and courage of the brave soldiers who fought valiantly in the 1999 war, Singh said in a post on X. Their unwavering commitment, valor, and patriotism ensured that our country remains safe and secure. Their service and sacrifice will continue to inspire every Indian and our coming generations, he said. Chief of Defense Staff General Anil Chauhan and all ranks of the armed forces also recalled the supreme sacrifice of the brave hearts. We draw inspiration from the heroes of Kargil, and we will continue to honor their legacy by defending our nation with courage, honor, and sacrifice, the headquarters of the Integrated Defense Staff said. Various events were organized across the country, including at the Kargil War Memorial in Dras to mark the occasion. More than 500 soldiers met supreme sacrifice in the conflict. External Affairs Minister S. Jaisankar also paid tribute to the brave soldiers who defended the nation's territory during the conflict. On Kargil Vijay Diwas, salute the valor and dedication of our brave soldiers. The legacy of their courage and patriotism acts as a guiding light for all Indians, he said. Russia and China have staged a joint patrol over the North Pacific Ocean and the Bering Sea near the coast of Alaska. The two countries have carried out several joint patrols in the past, and Russia regularly flies its bombers over the Bering Sea. But Wednesday's joint patrol was the first that brought together bombers from both countries in the North Pacific area. Moscow and Beijing said it was not aimed at any third party, while the US-Canadian North American Aerospace Defense Command (NORAD) said the bombers, which it intercepted, stayed in international airspace and were not seen as a threat. But Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski described the event as an unprecedented provocation by our adversaries, adding that it was the first time they have been intercepted operating together. China has said the patrol has nothing to do with the current international and regional situation. Russia Tu-95MS strategic missile carriers and the Chinese Air Force's Xian-He-6 strategic bombers were deployed, according to Russia. China and Russia have developed closer ties since Moscow was placed under sanctions by the West following its invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Any display of deepening cooperation is watched with apprehension by the US and European countries. Earlier this month, Moscow and Beijing wrapped up their fourth joint naval patrol in the Northern and West Pacific Ocean. NATO countries issued a joint statement at the end of recent summit in Washington, accusing China of being a decisive enabler of Russia's war in Ukraine and urging it to cease all material and political support to the country's war effort. In a report on Arctic security published on Monday, the U.S. Department of Defense expressed concern over the two countries' growing alignment and predicted that their military cooperation would continue to increase. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov rejected this, saying Russia-Chinese cooperation in the Arctic could only contribute to an atmosphere of stability and predictability in the area. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris struck a tough tone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday, telling him it was time he agreed to a ceasefire deal and provided relief to the Palestinian people. Harris said she told Netanyahu of her serious concern about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. And I made clear my serious concern about the dire humanitarian situation there, she said in a televised address after she and President Joe Biden met the Israeli Prime Minister at the White House. Harris is the presumed Democratic nominee to run against Republican candidate Donald Trump in the November presidential election after Biden stepped aside last Sunday. It is time to get this deal done, Harris said of the ceasefire deal currently being negotiated. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent. Ms. Harris' policy on Gaza is unlikely to shift in the terms of U.S. support for Israel, but her tone had a more resolute edge to it than anything Biden has said about the plight of the Palestinians since October 7. It is time for this war to end, she said. Harris has been more outspoken on Gaza in the past, and there has been speculation that she could adopt a tougher approach on Israel. Officials denied there is any daylight between her and Biden. White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby earlier said of Biden, "There is no reason to suspect that his decision to not run for re-election is going to have an impact on our ability to get the deal done." Kirby added that we need to get there soon. After their Oval Office meeting, Biden and Netanyahu met family members of American Israeli hostages being held in Gaza by Hamas and its allies. The relatives told reporters they have been assured that a truce proposal should be released to the public soon and that they are optimistic. On Wednesday, Netanyahu addressed a special joint session of Congress as thousands of protesters gathered outside the capital to call for a ceasefire and the end of U.S. aid to Israel. For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together, he told the gathered politicians. Heavy rain from Typhoon Gemi has flooded the Philippine capital Manila and nearby cities, forcing authorities to shut schools, office, and cancel flights on Wednesday and declare a state of calamity in a region that is home to 13 million people. The storm, which is strengthening as it gusts towards Taiwan, did not make landfall in the Philippines but has intensified seasonal monsoon rains, causing landslides and flooding over the past few days. At least 12 people have died and more than 600,000 are displaced due to the storm, known locally as Typhoon Karina, the National Disaster Agency said. Water in some areas is neck-high. The Philippine Coast Guard said 260 passengers and 16 vessels were stranded in ports, while airlines cancelled 114 flights out of Manila on Wednesday, the airport authorities said. The financial markets were also closed. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. told the disaster relief agencies to provide assistance and prepare supplies for isolated communities during a briefing on Wednesday, and the mayors of 16 cities in the Greater Manila region have asked for emergency funding, officials said. In the riverside city of Marikina, emergency workers waded through waist-deep waters and used rubber dinghies to rescue residents from their inundated homes. Some people sheltered in churches among the statue of Catholic saints. The flood reached the second floor of our house. All our things are ruined. Everything got wet. Nothing was safe. Ledeline Bernas, an evacuee at a nearby church, told Reuters. Social media posts showed several vehicles stuck in water or floating down streets and highways. The Philippines sees an average of 20 tropical storms annually, causing floods and deadly landslides. A health alert has been issued in the state of Arizona in the United States after a rodent-borne Hantavirus killed 4 people. The virus spreads to humans through droplets from the urine, saliva, or feces of the rats. From January to July, the Arizona Department of Health Services documented 7 instances of Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a serious and occasionally lethal respiratory disease. 2 cases related to this deadly virus have also been found in California. The virus, primarily carried by deer mice in the Grand Canyon state, causes symptoms such as fever, headache, and muscle pain, which can rapidly progress to difficulty breathing. While hantavirus is not spread from person to person, it can occur in various regions and is not limited to a specific area. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), hantaviruses are a family of viruses spread mainly by rodents and can cause varied diseases syndromes in people worldwide. This can cause hantavirus pulmonary syndrome (HPS) and hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome (HFRS), the CDC website says. Hantavirus symptoms start with fatigue, fever, muscle aches, headaches, chills, nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain. Late symptoms include coughing and shortness of breath, with a 38% mortality rate for hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. Hemorrhagic fever with renal symptoms appear 1 to 8 weeks post-exposure, causing headaches, pain, fever, chills, nausea, and blurred vision. Severe cases may lead to low blood pressure, shock, vascular leakage, and kidney failure. Recovery can take weeks or months. The CDC says there is no specific treatment, cure, or vaccine for hantavirus infection. However, if the infected are recognized early on and are provided medical care in an intensive care unit, they may do better. In intensive care, patients are intubated and given oxygen therapy to help them through the period of severe respiratory distress. According to the Centers for Disease Control, rodent control is the primary necessity to prevent hantavirus infections. Contact with rodent urine, droppings, saliva, and nesting materials should be avoided when cleaning rodent-infested areas. France high-speed train lines were targeted by multiple malicious acts, including arson on Friday, in what has been described as an attack on France, and coordinated sabotage to disrupt travel ahead of the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics. The French State Railway Company SNCF said in a post on X that a large number of trains were diverted or cancelled and asked all travelers who can to postpone their trip and not go to the station. The operator said the Atlantic, Northern and Eastern high-speed lines were impacted, with the maze closed to several of its facilities, adding that one of the acts was foiled in the east after SNCF agents scared off several individuals. SNCF CEO Jean-Pierre Farandao told journalists on Friday that cables, which are there to ensure the security of train drivers, were set on fire and taken apart, but that authorities don't know who is behind it. An intelligence source told CNN that French intelligence services are fully mobilized to find those responsible. The source added that these methods have been used by the far left in the past, but there is no evidence to tie today's actions to them. The Paris prosecutor's office has opened an investigation into the attack and detailed 4 separate charges relating to the damage of state property and taking part in organized crime. Some of the crimes listed are punishable by up to 20 years imprisonment and a fine of euro 300,000. Travel on the affected lines is very disrupted, with the railway network needing to divert and cancel a large number of trains, SNCF said. Disruptions which it estimates could impact around 250,000 travelers today were expected throughout the weekend, affecting 800,000 passengers as work crews oversee repairs, it added. Passengers milled around outside Paris Gare du Nord train station and sat with their luggage on staircases as the disruption laid waste to their travel plans. Francois, an 80-year-old from La Rochelle, is trying to get home and back to her nurse after medical treatment in Paris. She told CNN she is preparing to wait another 5 hours in the forlorn hope of catching a train. We did not need a day like this, she said. Meanwhile, Rafael, a SNCF user who has been waiting for his train at Montparnasse station in the capital since 6 a.m. local time, told CNN affiliate BFM TV that people are a little exasperated. The Remy Train Center Val de Loire said travel on its railway lines would be disrupted until at least Monday, with a fire near the tracks in Gortalian, northern France, impacting services to Paris. Ferrando explained that they have to pull the damaged cables back together, one by one reconnect and test them. It's a question of security, he said. We have to make sure we test them so when trains are back up and running they are safe. Brittany, a region in the northwest France, and the north of the country are the most impacted areas, SNCF said, though some trains have started running again, notably in eastern France. There would be no trains from Paris Gare Montparnasse, however, until at least 1 p.m. local time. Christophe Fanichet, the CEO of SNCF Voyagers, told Reuters. I don't know where to go. I was only here to change trains. Marguerite, a 24-year-old professor, told CNN in Gare Montparnasse as she tried to make her way home to Brittany. I am trying to call friends to see where I can sleep tonight. We are blocked here. That is all for today's news, and have a pleasant evening ahead.